Good morning, everybody, from the Weather Center here in West Central Missouri. I told you guys I was going to do up a short video, just kind of a brief explanation of what is going on in our atmosphere right now as we go through this transition from springtime and our abnormally active severe storm season thus far here in West Central Missouri, and that transition into more of a summer pattern. So, as we discussed earlier, we have a marginal risk for some severe storms. Tornado threat is very low. Hail threat very low, but the wind threat is going to be our primary concern for a strong wind gust or two, maybe up to 60 miles per hour, and that is kind of that is typically our severe threat as we move into June. Instead of seeing these really robust broken line of storms, supercell storms, we begin to transition into more of a MCS style. That's a mesoscale convective system, which is basically a glob, so to speak, of thunderstorms, and out ahead of it you can see some impressive wind gusts up to 60, 70, sometimes 80 miles per hour. A derecho. This is the time of year in June, July when we have a chance to see one of them, which is a very wide stretching hundreds of miles of strong straight line wind, very damaging. If you guys recall the one that went through Iowa here just a couple years back, producing 100 to 110 mile an hour across the state of Iowa, just wrecking farmland and structures wherever it went. It just absolutely destroyed it. So, not saying we don't need to be weather aware anymore, but our severe threat will be gradually going down as we go into the summer months. Now, here locally in West Central Missouri, of course, we've got today just a marginal risk of seeing a strong wind gust. Same thing goes for tomorrow. We'll have that risk for some couple wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour with any of these storms that should happen to move across West Central Missouri. More than likely, it's going to be our best chance to see one of those stronger wind gusts will be early Monday morning, say between the 4 and 6 a.m. time frame, somewhere in there. And then when we go to day 3, that kind of shifts up to the north just a little bit. We will have a few thunderstorms around on Monday, but they're likely not going to be producing any strong straight line winds. And then, of course, as we go forward, the predictability is going to be too low for the Storm Prediction Center to really give us an idea. But right now, it's not looking too promising that we will see any more severe threats for the rest of the week until we come up toward the end of the weekend next week. So let's take a look at what is causing this and what the difference is here that we are seeing now that sure wasn't there 2, 3, 4 weeks ago when we was getting all this severe weather. You notice in order for us to get severe weather, we've got to have a lifting mechanism. We got to have a trough, a low pressure system. Over the last month and a half, those storm systems have been moving off just almost directly across the Midwest, producing those severe storm chances. Well, now we're starting to see that main jet stream begin its retreat up to the north. Okay, by midsummer, that thing's all the way up into Canada. Okay, and of course, that's why a lot of storm chasers will gradually, continually to move north to chase those storms all the way into Canada as we go through our summer months. But it is beginning its retreat to the north. We can see that by looking at the 500 millibar chart maps. This is the wind speeds at 18,000 feet above our heads, and these are the winds that will steer and direct these low pressure systems, the high pressure systems. We get a good idea of where these systems are going to go using this particular model. And of course, we go through today. Now, there is a powerhouse low pressure system. You see that spin up there in north of Minnesota and into Canada. That is a very strong low pressure system, but notice where it's at. It's up to the north, way up there. Okay, so now we are going to feel some of its effects here in the Midwest. As you can see, some of these upper level winds are going to be ushering down into the Midwest. Now, we notice that there is a very strong high pressure system. That's a ridge that is going to be building over to our west here in west central Missouri. So we are going to be on the fringe of 2 or 3 storm systems over the next week or two. So our severe storm chances are still there. But of course, before we would be like right here as that low pressure system moves across, and we would, of course, you got the low here. You're gonna have a front. You're gonna have a dry line, and you would have this coming up here. We would be right in line for severe weather. Okay, but with this being moved off to the north, and we're going to be sitting down here just getting brushed by these storm systems. Now, because we are going to have ample amount of moisture, there will be disturbances that'll be coming through. We cannot rule out severe thunderstorms, but as far as the intensity, we are not going to be in that prominent zone to see all the ingredients come together for a typical severe weather outbreak like we've been seeing as of late. So that is great news, because we all need a break here in west central Missouri. So let's put this, let's go a little bit further. And remember, we got that high pressure system, that ridge that's still forming out to the west. But notice we still get some of that, some of those upper level winds are going to be ushering in, and we can get severe weather with these kind of setups. Okay, and especially historically, we can go back and we can take a look when we get this northwest flow this time of year. We can get severe weather, so we still need to be weather aware, but we're not going to be in that prime location according to the location of where that low pressure system is. Okay, just want to make sure everybody realizes that we can still get severe weather. But this is more of a summertime, late spring, summertime pattern, where for the most part we are getting this, what they call zonal flow. Okay, so we're getting this from west to east type of flow in the system. Okay, and now that's not saying that we could get a storm or two with this type of scenario, but they're going to be little dips like this. Okay, little disturbances in the atmosphere, but we're not going to get those massive troughs that's going to bring that threat for severe weather. So these are things that I look at in the future using the models and basing our forecast upon that. So let's go. This is Thursday. We go into Friday, and man, just look at that powerhouse system out there that's going to affect the Northeast. That is a strong, deep, low pressure system out there. But as we go through the weekend, we're still going to catch the glimpse of this thing. This thing's going to be hanging around for for most of all week. That's the reason why we have those chances of rain and thunderstorms pretty much all this upcoming week, is because of this culprit right out here. But eventually it's going to move off to the east, and then we will be underneath that ridge of high pressure. We'll get a little bit of a break in storms. But some of the models, some of the analog models, where they take they will take the historical data for where we're at, and then they will add the numerical data into it, and they come up with kind of a reasonable forecast called the CFS. And this is analog. It does not have artificial intelligence with it, but it really picks up on two things. It picks up on wind shear, and it picks up on instability. Now, those are two big key ingredients of severe storms and supercells, but they do not really take in consideration the other factors that go into it, like a forcing, a lifting mechanism, how much what the moisture content coming up from the Gulf of Mexico. It doesn't really look at that, but it gives us a great trending of where we may see some severe storms. Now, it's picking up around the third week of June. It's picking up some ingredients that may provide a focus for supercells. Okay, and we can see that. I can bring that up right here and kind of show you guys. So this is the CFS, and you notice the week we're in right now. Okay, kind of the a trend of seeing some severe storm possibly here in the Midwest, and that's what we're actually looking at for this week. And then as we go into next week, we're going to be kind of in that quiet time. There's really not going to be a whole lot going around us to suggest any kind of severe weather. And then we go into that third week, and you notice the big difference here. We got this big red glob here in the Midwest. So that's from around the 16th of June through the 22nd. Is what this particular parameter is set for. And again, this is a supercell composite, really basing it off of two main ingredients, and again, that's wind shear and instability. So it's not all the ingredients. It doesn't take into consideration what is actually going on, but it's a trend that this allows us to look forward 2, 3, 4 weeks in advance. So if we take a look at some of the other models, like the one we were just on, we're going to see maybe what that's picking up on. If you focus your attention out here off the West Coast, we are actually, this is going to be around the 11th, 12th. You notice there's a pretty strong system that is sitting out there to the west that is going to be moving across the United States, and that is likely what the CFS parameter is picking up as we go toward that third week of June. And notice it really begins to kind of dig in right down here, really begins to dig in a trough. And of course, we're going to sit there and get those upper level winds pushing across here in the Midwest, bringing us the potential to see some severe weather as we go into that third week of June. So remember, all these models, all this data, I like to call it trending. They don't necessarily show you what's going to happen. They're going to show you what might happen. So you have to take all these models, especially once you get beyond day 3, 4, 5, 6. You really have to take it with a grain of salt, because it gives you a trending of where storms may occur, but it's not going to be highly accurate as far as exactly who is going to get a storm and who is not going to get a storm. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell, guys. Just a little bit more of say a scientific backing, atmospheric science backing on the kind of the changing of the seasons. And again, you have to keep in mind that as we head into summer, that the jet stream, this main steering line where all these storms are following, start to retreat back up to the north. And of course, along with that, the severe weather is going to follow. And so that's the reason why the upper Midwest, up into Dakotas, Minnesota, into Canada, they are just now starting to get into their active severe storm season as that jet stream continues to retreat back up into Canada during our summer. So we are seeing signs that is currently happening right now. So, we've got this low pressure system we're going to be keeping an eye on for that third week of June. But for right now, for at least the next couple weeks, there's nothing out there that is showing a strong presence of any kind of severe threat. We may get some strong wind gusts, maybe some hail. We can't ever rule out a tornado when we're talking 2-3 weeks out, but the conditions are not going to be all that favorable for severe storms, at least for the next couple weeks. So I hope this finds you well. I hope this was informational, and we'll do more of these videos as we head into the summer months. We'll be talking about the rainfall potential for drought, which looks like West Central Missouri is probably going to have one of our best years we've seen in quite some time, especially from the agricultural sense and the farmers, where we will have, according to the LRC, 85 to 105% of average over the last 30 years of precipitation, which we haven't seen that in several years. So things are shaping up on the agricultural sense to be a great year, precipitation and heat wise. So I know a lot of farmers are looking forward to having a great year. They need it. It's been pretty stressful for them over the last few years. So everybody take care. Have a wonderful Sunday. And if you have a comment or if you have a question, feel free to reach out to me on any of my social media platforms. We've got TikTok and Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and YouTube and all the good ones out there. So feel free, reach out to me. And I will be more than happy to try to answer any of your questions. So take care, stay weather aware, and we'll be talking to you soon.